after 4 or 5 minutes under the ice, I had no oxygen left in the body, but my consciousness was still there. And it was okay. I was going to sleep. There I realized I won over the fear of death.
Hey everyone, welcome back to On Purpose, the #1 health podcast in the world. Thanks to each and every single one of you that turn up every week to listen, learn, and grow. Now, you know that I love introducing you to incredible guests, and today's guest doesn't really need an introduction. I'm sure you're already a fan. This is someone that I've been wanting to interview for a very long time. We were trying to make sure we do it in person, but hey, this situation and scenario has made us connect right now. And I'm so excited to introduce you to the one and only Wim Hof, aka the Iceman. He's the creator of the Wim Hof method, a method consisting of cold exposure, breathing techniques, and mindset commitment. For the first time in history, scientific research has shown that people who practice the Wim Hof method can influence their autonomic nervous system and immune system. This was thought of as impossible. This is huge. Since this study, the more research has been done on the Wim Hof method, showing what human beings are capable of. Wim has been an extreme athlete with 21 official world records, climbing the Mount Everest in shorts, sitting in a bucket with ice for almost 2 hours, running a half marathon above the Arctic Circle on his bare feet, and many more amazing feats. He is convinced, listen to this, that everyone can tap into this potential without having to invest the decades worth of study, travel, and daring as he has. And so he developed the Wim Hof method, a natural path to an optimal state of body and mind. Wim teaches his method in seminars all over the world, but today we're going to talk about how you can find it all in this book, The Wim Hof Method. Wim, thank you so much for coming on Purpose.
Thanks, Jay. That was a ray of light.
It's incredible to see what you've done and see what you've achieved. And I'm so grateful that people like you exist in the world today, because I love this juxtaposition of wisdom and science. And I love this bringing together of these two worlds that people often think don't go together. When we talk about breath work or meditation or visualization, people often say, oh, that's that soft stuff, it's airy-fairy stuff. And then you see someone like you, and all of a sudden I was like, okay, well, Wim is not airy-fairy. Wim is like a tough guy. He's done a lot of tough things. And then you've got the science. I think it's incredible what you're doing, Wim, and thank you so much for doing it.
Great, yes. Let's enlighten you from your angle as being the greatest podcast, the greatest podcast on medical science, health in the world. That is my aim. That's my aim. It is so much my aim as I have to tell a little story in the old Upanishads in India. There was a contest between 3 archers, and they came together and they had to aim and see who was the best. So the first one aimed, and he shot into the middle of a target, a fish it was, inside a tree, laid there, about 150 meters away. That is like 160 yards away, aiming with the arch and a bow and arrow, and boom, in the middle. And then another came, and the second one came, and he aimed and he got it in the head. And then the last one came, and he aimed and he shot. And then they first did not see where the arrow was gone, because it was exactly gone in the blackness of the pupil of the eye. And it had become one with it, something like that. And everybody knew at that contest who was the best. It was a man called Arjuna. And then they asked him, how did you do this, Arjuna? Tell us, explain us, show some light on this. And then he said, yes, first I saw the wood. Then I saw something shiny in a tree. And then I saw the shiny thing become bigger. I saw an eye. And the eye, it became so big, I could not miss. That is our mind capable of. If we only live to our true purpose, then we cannot miss. If we use 100% our mind, which, by the way, we don't own our own mind. We are schooled in something that is providing production for a system that is sodomizing the planet, that is not into the immune system, the health, nor into the happiness, nor in the strength of people, but into the brutto national product, the economy and money. And the creativity, therefore, is gone. The originality, the identity of a person is gone. And logically, you become sick. You become depressed. You don't know what is your purpose. Then you live aside of your true core, which contains happiness, strength, and health. We are talking health, then I talk soul. And because soul was something, where is it? Where is it? Now we got the measurement devices to go into the DNA. And into the DNA, we are able to get and to show that we are able. I'm doing this study right now with San Francisco top researchers on the DNA, showing that we are able to get into the genome expressions, into the telomeres, the length of the time span of life, and how to influence that. And with that, into the genetical past of our ancestors. Our ancestors have given us encrypted codes in the genetics, and we were thinking within science, we cannot influence into that. And I say, yes, we are built to solve the problems of the past, of the ancestors, and with that comes enlightenment. And now it's no longer something abstract. What is abstract is killing the planet, is shooting people to the moon, is shooting people to Mars, to Venus. I don't know what they do, but that is abstract. It hasn't got anything to do with the guarantee to become happy, strong, and healthy, which I want to give to my children, to my friends, to everybody around me, with all the respect for the inner nature, outer nature coming together. There is the soul, there is the purpose, there is the health. And now we have the measurement devices. But before, when I was in the young, I thought, hey man, I'm not going to take this. I don't think war is normal. Disease is normal. Abuse is normal. Stress is normal. I don't think that is normal. I think this happiness, strength, and health, that is normal. And to respect wildlife and people in poor countries and help, love, that is my aim. But how to get around that? How to make it tangible and strong? I did not know, but I followed my gut. I followed my intuition. And those now show to be internal neurological networks called proprioception, interoception, and they were thought of not to be able to be top-down regulated, like mind over matter was not possible. I showed how to do it. Where did I get the wisdom of? Not out of the books, out of nature. Mother Nature provided me, and now I'm showing all in scientific comparative studies that we are built, innately capacitated to provide health, happiness, and strength through a control, absolute great control over our immune system. As you said in the beginning, the immune system, innate immune system, the damaging factor right now with COVID is the innate immune system, the overactive immune system, the cytokine storm. And we were to believe that it is not able to be suppressed by humans. And we showed this very clearly in 2014. We can suppress it within a quarter of an hour. Through what? Through the life force itself. What are you talking about, life force? Breathing. Just breathing. Deep breathing, manipulating it like consciously stopping the breath after releasing carbon dioxide. We become alkaline inside. Then the carbon dioxide trigger is no longer there for breathing. And you are just sitting. And while you sit for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, without air in the lungs. This is known in the old yogas, the kumbhakas, it's called. But hey, I did not know. It was too abstract. Where was it? I went into the cold water, and what happened? I began to breathe deep. That is the natural way. And we got alienated from the life force, from bringing oxygen and chemistry, the right chemistry inside our bodies and inside the depth of our brain. We forgot about it. We alienated, disconnected. Yoga is about connecting. Yoga, huge, is a Sanskrit verb for connecting. But then I was reading all the Upanishads, the Mahabharata, the Ki, the Chi, the Greek pneuma, the Christian mysticism and all. And it didn't make sense until I went into the cold water. Is when I woke up to a feeling of this is it, a feeling. And that feeling is inside. That feeling, now I know how to connect and show it to others in one day, how to connect to internal neurological networks we have never been schooled in to learn to use. And when we then get depressed, or we get the sack, or we have no money, or we have problems, we got stressed, we cannot tap into these internal mechanisms who are very able to deal with any kind of stress. That means mental, physical, emotional, bacterial, viral, doesn't matter. In the end, it is cell biological stress. And we have internal networks, neurological networks, making us able to deal with it. But we have never been schooled therein. And there we come in to show through meditation, to show through breathing, how to tap into these internal neurological networks. That is where I'm at. That's where we come together. This is a sort of an introduction, but I dive deep because you know how to go deep yourself. So we meet somewhere down there and begin to solve the paradigm. Because in the end now, people, when they take this on, they see and feel stress going away. But then you get the mindset. And the mindset is not about how to perform even better and all that. No, it's about realigning oneself to the soul. Realigning oneself to the 100% capacity of our mind.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you were sharing so many amazing stories from the Mahabharata and the Upanishads. It's, books that I've studied and taught for many, many years, and hearing you speak about them in such a relevant way is beautiful. And one of the things you mentioned there, Wim, that I think really stands tall and true above everything else is this understanding around the power of the life force and the breath and the ability to realign and connect. And for so many of us, and I felt this way, breathing was something that we never thought we had to learn how to do. We just do it. We do it badly. We don't know if we do it well. What are some of the biggest mistakes that we're making in our breathing every day for years that we're not even aware of? And what should optimal breathing on a daily basis look like?
I always use the same thing. That is the deep breath. Any deep breathing techniques that are able to deal with the stress in your individual, original, your typical, specific life is the right one.
Right.
So pranayama is the control over the life force. And that's pranayama. But I could not understand that before when I was young. I went into the cold, and the cold doesn't show through words. It shows through a power, through aggressive impact, through 1,000 needles. How to be not a pincushion, but to be in control. To be in control over the depth and to change the chemistry. To change the chemistry with that connect. With that, being able consciously to connect after changing the chemistry, we are able to get in with our will, the neurotransmitters of our will, in connection with the neurological pathways nature has set within us. We got 5 external and 3 internal. So anything that is able to create the right chemistry for you at will to be able to connect with all these neurological pathways and to learn to influence and to control them, that is the right breathing technique. Now, I saw a lot of breathing techniques, but they did not really, they were not effective. And then going into the cold water, I stopped thinking about it and adopting through books what it is. I was doing it. And then the right breathing technique came. Because the cold, as I always say, is merciless but righteous. It is a teacher. And the teacher loves you, so he doesn't mess around with you. He brings the love, and the love is not sentimental, it's powerful. And it's every day, so much energy. And a disease suddenly is gone. And your mood, you are able to regulate. And you are happy all the time. What is this? This is what the teacher gives you because he loves you. And he comes to you and cuts all the shit out of you. And that can be painful in the beginning, but it's nothing but an awakening. I took this for 25 years on my own, and because everybody was saying I was crazy. And I still have to say, I think they are right. I am bloody crazy. I'm crazy about life. And I want, and I am changing fundamentally science, medical science as it is. Because you know, as me, that the autonomic nervous system was considered, after hundreds of years, stated scientific language and facts and building up of what our physiology was capable of and not, and that at will we were not able to tap into the autonomic nervous system, we were not able to get into the immune system, and we were not able to get into the endocrine system. And now it has been shown in 2014, we are able to do it. We showed that in a comparative study. And you don't need to go like the yogis for 20 years or 30 years into seclusion and then find all kinds of cities and supernatural powers. You are more than normal. Everybody is born to be more than normal. He is born to be superb, to be great. Their mind is great. They talk about the mind and that it is unlimited in its power, but who is doing it? Now, because the paradigm now is about producing in the world, production, and more and more and more. It is not about love. It is not about caring. There is a sort of a moral standard and ethical standard, but it is too much polluting, too much production, too much exploiting going on. This doesn't serve humanity as it is now. And we have come to the moment now where we have to change. We have to show the people the purpose of everybody's life. But are we capable of entering into that new paradigm? Because that's the question. And I say yes. For that, I built up through science. Because nobody's going to believe a crazy man like me going into freaking cold water. And man, I'm not going to do that. He's crazy. And he's breathing so strange. Hey, man, that is not good. Hey, don't believe what he said. So I go through science. I went to television first, did all kinds of records, got the attention of the world. Then I said, hey, scientists, come in, test on me. And I will prove wrong what you have been writing up till now of what we are capable of. You say depression cannot be solved, but by pills and medicaments and all kinds of chronic diseases. That cannot be solved. I will show you that we are able to beat inflammation and to regulate our mood, which makes depression, bipolar, psychosis, all these things go away like bad spirits. We are able to control that. And how? This is what I showed in 2014 on inflammation. Within a quarter of an hour, the inflammation went down after instruction in 4 days. Not 20 years, 4 days. Now I can do it in 1 day. I bring people to the ability to suppress the inflammation caused by an injection of E. coli. Now, inflammation is also the damaging factor of COVID. We can beat the damaging factor of COVID-19. But they are not getting to this study which showed how to prevent, how to beat COVID-19, for example, in the beginning, inflammation. I've been looking it up. Those are interleukins. And the interleukin number 1, number 6, number 8, and number 11 are responsible for the damage in the lungs, creating a sort of edema because of the wrong lung function. And it acts and it overreacts. And you get this reaction and suddenly it's stuffed inside. You cannot breathe anymore. But in the beginning, you can beat the inflammation. And that's why podcasts like this is a great channel to get to common sense of people, because we are built with the doctor within us. We have healing power, all of us. We are born with it. We are never schooled with it. We have learned to follow a paradigm of dependency on doctors, on professors, on science, on pills and medicaments and hospitals, but not the real investigative spirit. Yeah. The real investigative spirit is about what is the soul, how to be healthy, happy, strong, how to equally divide the power among people. Because a happy person is not making war, is not going and grieving for money and power. A happy person is unconditionally there. But that paradigm doesn't exist right now. And for that, I go through science again, because I begin to become too philosophical again. This is where people don't follow me anymore. And so I go back. Okay, 2014, inflammation, considered to be not being able to be suppressed by humans at will. We have proven them after 16,000 cases wherein it went wrong, with the same experimental model of endotoxemia, E. coli bacteria injected. They all got sick, and suddenly 12 people I trained within 4 days did not become sick after injection of the E. coli bacteria. And then they saw that these persons all had tapped into the autonomic nervous system, into the immune system, into the endocrine system, all systems considered to be not done at will by humans. So that was 2014. We reproduced that study bigger, and we got the same results. That is Nobel Prize winners level. But it doesn't make pills. It doesn't make money. It's for free. We got it all. It's just an awakening to this power and to quit with the old paradigm of dependency and get into the freedom of your own capacity to enter in the whole of your own mind. That is freedom. That is power. And with that, you can realize through your creative power, the life force, who you are, what you are. Then the soul is there and happy, strong, healthy. Hey, man, it's right there. That's the source. That's the core. And that's what we want to provide to the people. But because that sounds like philosophical, okay, let's get back. Let's get back to the best of brain scans in the world. One of them is one of the two best brain scans is in Hanover. In Hanover, Germany. You know, Germans go to the gym. They go really meticulous. They look until they find something we never saw with their machines. They are very good at it. So one of the best brain scans in the world is in Hanover. Some doctors and professors took it on this method. And then normally we have a control of 16% in our brain over our neural activity at will. 16, 17, maybe 18, whoa, intelligent. Now, the guys who did the experiment with this breathing technique, with the so-called the retentions, this breathing technique coming from nature, coming from just going into the cold, man, and deep breathing showed in the brain scan to ignite and activate not 16 or 18% of the brain activity, neural activity in the brain, but 100. That means we are able at will to change the chemistry and with that, the neurology of our brain. And then suddenly we are no longer captivated by the narrowed consciousness we got in and we are schooled within. We are able now to enter into that neural activity in any part of our brain and then get to know who we really are. And let the creative power, the life force, the breath, and our consciousness is electricity, is light, and it gets in there and it finds exactly the way what needs to be done to ancestrally solve the matters of the encrypted codes of our ancestors and become and enlighten it. Very simple. This is everybody's ability. We are born with that. And now it's the time to show it. And therefore, this podcast is very important because you are my mirror. I know you. I can feel you. I can see you. And I can only talk like this because you are there. Your consciousness, I get through. And from there, we use it as a stepping stone because we love people. We bring it to people. We want to enlighten people. Hey, man, it has arrived. The soul has arrived, and your creativity is your choice now. What do you want? We want to give it all.
I love your passion, but what I love about what you're saying, and please, everyone who's listening or watching right now, pay close attention to how Wim is constantly going between the philosophy and the science and the practice, because it's all three of them together. This isn't just a mindset shift, it's a physical shift, but it's also a soul shift. And so when you have shifts in all three areas that are aligned at the same time, that's when you see this change. Now, Wim, I want you to share with us, because some people may be aware, some people may not be, but when we talk about your incredible achievements, I also think you're such a great storyteller of what you've lived. And I'd love for you to share with us, when you're climbing Mount Everest in shorts, what are you thinking about during the hike? Like, what is going on here? Because for most of us, even wearing a full jacket and snow boots in the New York winter would be seen as still it's cold. What to speak of you being in shorts on Mount Everest? what is happening here? What is happening in the soul? And what is happening in your body at that time?
There is more than meets the eye. And my intuition, my instinct was ready to take on a bigger challenge, to mirror, to get to know that instinct, to get to know what this intuition is pointing at. I just have to follow it. So it is a gut feeling. A gut feeling got into me and was saying, okay, first they climbed to Mount Everest in clothes and with oxygen. Then somebody did it without oxygen. And I think it's now time to do it without oxygen and without clothes. Just following the gut, Hey, why not? I just take it as a challenge because what is in the mind, the communal mind, that is the result of the progression and evolution of our minds. And I say, okay, I want to get on because the mind where it is now is still quite incapable of bringing peace, love, strength, happiness to all the people and all the beings in the world. We got to investigate more. So I'm the guinea pig. I go and do something unknown, because that what is known is like trodden pathways. I don't want to go the trodden pathway. I want to go out there to find something new. So following the gut, I went to Mount Everest. I was there and I found myself at a certain moment, after weeks of being there, alone, suddenly covered in a whiteout on 6,000 meters. That means like 18,000, 90,000 feet. And less than half the oxygen is over there. There was no Sherpa with me, no guide. There is no road there. There is not even a path. It was snow, just white, a white out. And I was just in my shorts. And that was the moment where I met the spirit of the mountain. Why I was there, I met it fully. I shook friends, I shook the hands of Mount Everest right over there. My lesson was over there. At that moment, I felt, oh, now I know why I'm here. Now I am connecting with this being here. And I was not in paranoia. I was not panicking. I was not cold. I was not anything of those things. I found myself observing myself that I was without all that. Hey, I just feel good. I feel light. And there I was in a whiteout, completely lost on 90,000 feet in my shorts. 3 hours later, I found a camp somewhere. I could have found nothing as well, but I was okay. I felt great. And that it showed to me the lesson was that, hey man, any stress, if you follow your gut, you will be able to take it on as a test, as a lesson of life. Because the greatest lesson of life, death itself, you will prepare yourself for the next stage. And don't be afraid, because it is beautiful. Just follow your gut. I think of death, which I found in another challenge, under the ice. I lost the way under the ice, and I had no goggles on, so I could not see. It was a blur, and I was trying to find a hole while swimming, breath hold, and I passed the hole apparently, but I couldn't see it. And I went more than twice the Olympic distance under the water, but there was no agony. I was fully in control. My consciousness went less, more, sleepy. But there was absolutely no pain, no agony. The light at a certain moment is sleepy. Under the ice, breath hold. After 4 or 5 minutes under the ice, I had no oxygen left in the body, but my consciousness was still there. And it was okay. I was going to sleep. And then somebody grabbed me by the ankle, brought me back to the 60-yard hole, and I came out of there. And there I realized that death is nothing negative. I won over the fear of death, and our concept, whatever we have learned, the fear, the unknown, the confusion about all that I lost over there. And so I got many stories of many challenges on Mount Everest, in the snow, in the Antarctics, and under the water, under an ice cap of a meter, or standing for hours in ice, or hanging by one finger in midwinter on 2 kilometers up in the air. Nothing is there but your body and your mind to be tested, to get a full-blown realization of who you are and what you are. And that goes past any fear, any blockage. It's a knowledge which is omnipresent, and it has all the purpose. It leads like the life force, like a river, and suddenly you get there and you become one with it all. And that one is healthy, happy, strong. Wow. And there we are. And that's the way I wake up every day.
What are some of the positive stresses that people can put their minds and bodies through to get to that stage? So none of us are going to run to that being on, an Everest in our shorts. What are some of the things people can do every day to start building that muscle so that we wake up? Like you're saying, like you wake up. How do people start doing that daily? The little things we can do every day.
Just know that you are built to be happy, strong, and healthy. Dave Asprey asked the bulletproof guy, he asked me, Wim, what is enlightenment? And please put it in one sentence. I said, okay, here it comes. In one sentence. Just be happy, strong, and healthy. That what makes you feel disconnected from yourself. That is not you. That is some other force inflicted upon you. If you know it, yes or no, it does not matter. The matter is connect with yourself. Find happiness, strength, and health. That's who you are. That's where your energy is needed for. There is the purpose, and that leads to enlightenment every day. And listen, you don't need to climb Mount Everest. You don't need, because I had to do that because it was not in the books what I tried to find. So I had to follow my gut, and it got me in some strange situations. And then I found out I can get out anything. Now I'm not doing that anymore because I don't need it. I don't need it, and I'm showing in science incredible stuff that is written not to be able to be done. They say a transformational technique that will change mental health care. Michigan, Detroit, psychiatry, Wayne State University. They did tests on me and on the brain. And then they found out I'm tapping into areas of the brain that were not known for humans to get there at will. And with that, they found the keys how to unlock the potential to solve mental disorders of any kind, to get into mood, into emotion itself. And this was all unknown, but I know we are built to be happy, strong, and healthy. Get into this breathing, just a quarter of an hour. It has shown through science to effectively change the biochemistry, becoming very pH value, very high alkaline. It peaks, it spikes, then it comes back in the right order, and then suddenly you feel that the stress is gone. What is that? That is your natural state, your natural biochemistry. The way we are schooled has created a conditioning that messes with our biochemistry. So we have to make sure in the morning on empty stomach to get our right biochemistry going. And with that, we get into this new paradigm. Where do you believe in? Do you believe in I cannot, or I can, I am. I am happy, strong, and healthy. That is who I am. And the rest needs to be removed out of my body, out of my mind. That paradigm that made us dependent on doctors and all that, hey, man, let it go, because you don't need it, and not even the doctors need it. You need to be you yourself within, capacitated by Mother Nature, birthright to control 100% of your brain, your immune system, the hormonal system, lymphatic and vascular system, all the systems, because you are in connection. That if you go back to Patanjali, like 1200 years and some more, he says in the beginning about connection, huge, that's the verb. It says, Ata yoga anusasanam, yoga chitta vritti narodaha, tada drastoha, swarape vastanam. Yoga is the silencing of the modifications of the brain. Then the seer appears. The seer is who we are. But if there is this turmoil of our thinking, which are signals, which are messengers that something is wrong, that's why we think all the time. When that comes to rest, then the blood flow goes into the depth of the brain, and the whole brain is illuminated with the right neural activity. And it's done through simple breathing exercises. And then you are able to change at will to who you are and what you are. And you are a happy, strong, healthy person, all of you, with a beautiful mind.
I want everyone who's listening and watching to start repeating that to themselves, because Wim has repeated it so many times. And the signal, the energy that I'm getting from Wim is I need to say that to myself every morning and every night, because the challenge is that the noise that builds up in the mind is constantly telling us the opposite. So every day we say to ourselves, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed, I'm pressurized. So we are saying, I am this all the time. And so it's not like you're adding some funky thing to your life. You're just replacing it. And you're replacing it with something that's actually going to push you in the right direction. And what I'm going to ask Wim to do for us now is, Wim, I'd love for you to guide us through a simple breathing technique that we can follow when we're feeling overwhelmed or stressed or pressured. I'm going to do it with you, and I'd love for you to guide us, as you've been saying just now, because I really want people to get into that I am healthy, happy, and strong, and build that as a mindset, but to find the breathing to match it. So can we do that now?
Yes, of course.
Amazing. Let's do it.
Okay, we are all relaxed now. The world is gone. The world is gone. Here we are. A vessel, beautiful mind. That's who we are. Shake it up, shake it out. Ah, nice. Right on. Okay, cool. Move your belly fully in. Your chest. And then you let it go. Once again. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. This technique has been approved, go on, in the university. So we don't need to mind. It works deeply. More deeper than any books has written about. Okay, fully in, letting go. Tingling can come. You can feel lightheaded, loom in the body. It's all right. Whatever you feel different. Okay, there we go again. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. Just follow the breath. Fully in. Letting go. 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 10 more. Fully in. Letting go. Tingling, all good. Fully in. Letting go. Whatever you feel different, breathe into it. Make it stronger, intensify. Whatever you feel, make it stronger. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. 5 more. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. Last 2. Fully in. Letting go. Fully in. Letting go. Here comes the last one. Fully in. Let it go. And stop. Close your mouth. No breathing. No need. We have blown off the carbon dioxide. We are very alkaline in the body. This makes the neural activity able to go everywhere in the body. It makes it go away any blockage. And blockages are related to fear because then we have no control. Then fear comes. But we have control because we are connected to the flow, to the light, to the neural activity, to the autonomic nervous system. As simple as it is, witness. Just be. Because the body is restoring itself to its original nature. That is of flow in the brain, in the body, all connected. It cleanses, it recognizes. It's able even to go into the DNA now. Amazing. Whatever is in the depth and wants to come up, just witness and let it go. I say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fully in. Hold. Fully in and hold. And squeeze it to your head. The cerebrospinal fluid, you squeeze to the head so the blood flow gets into the brainstem, the periaqueducto, the deepest of the brain. And there is the seat of the soul itself. And it gets nourishment. It decalcifies. 3, 2, 1, and let it go. If you do this 2, 3 rounds in the morning, then you for sure have changed the biochemistry, which makes you able to connect with the immune system at will, as we have shown, to the endocrine system to be able to regulate your mood, your energy, the metabolic energetic processes in the cell to create energy, and your immune system. It's all there. Very simple. Those are just 3 rounds. Wim, can it be so simple? I am sorry. It is so simple.
I love it. Wim.
Furthermore, it is your choice. You want to be happy? It's at your feet. You want to be strong? It's at your feet.
I feel an immediate difference personally, immediate difference. I mean, Wim, that was amazing. Thank you so much. And I completely agree with you that the truth is simple, right? The truth is simple, that enlightenment is simple, that health is simple when we choose to not try and be intellectual or try and be complex. Wisdom is simple, and that's why no matter what language you speak or where you're from or whether you have a PhD or you don't, the truth is relevant and accessible to each and every person. And the truth of breath was given to each and every one of us from the beginning of our lives. So it is something that is very much ours. It is our gift. And learning to breathe in this way, the fact that Wim has said this, I recommend to everyone who's listening today, please, just for the next 7 days, let's practice what Wim has shared with us. Just every day, let's practice it every day. And just allow yourself to see if you feel a difference. And I promise you, you will. I promise you, you will. It's guaranteed, not only scientifically, but philosophically and spiritually. It's guaranteed to feel a difference. When you change something, you will feel a difference. And right now, we know that we're not waking up in the best state. We know that we're not feeling our best in the morning. So why not try something that is new, that has been scientifically tested, and that has been practiced in extreme situations as well? And so, Wim, I just want to say thank you so much today for the last 60 minutes, which flew by. You've shown us again, even in your speaking and your energy, how time can be shrunk, you know? And now I'm thinking, like, when you're going through all of that in your mind and you're climbing Everest, you're shrinking time. And I want to recommend to everyone, please go out and get the Wim Hof Method, the book, which will be released in the UK on 24th September 2020 and the US on the 20th of October, the Wim Hof Method. Go and get it. There's a great picture of Wim on the front. You know, he looks like he's just like come out of The Revenant or something like that. It looks like a shot from a movie. But please go and get it, because it's going to give you the practices to reclaim your breath. You know that I speak about it a lot, that for so many of us, we have this breath. We've never been taught how to use it. There is so much more that begins with our breath. And I can't recommend Wim, his teachings, and his books more than ever. I've had some friends who've had incredible experiences with Wim. We've had some of them on the podcast, Yes Theory, and many others who've absolutely loved spending time with Wim. So please go and grab the book. And Wim, we end every interview with a final 5. So this is rapid fire, fast 5. So I ask you a question and you have to answer in 1 word or 1 sentence maximum.
Yes.
So these are your fast 5, Wim. The first one is, what's the biggest compliment you've ever received?
I love you, of my wife.
Beautiful. Great. Second question. What do you know to be absolutely true, but people disagree with you on? What are you so sure about, but people disagree with you on?
That the soul is present right here, right now, and accessible for everybody.
Amazing. I love that. And next time we do a podcast, we have to talk about that. That's what I want to do next time. The soul next time. This time I want people to get to know your method. Okay, third question. If you could create a law that everyone in the world had to follow, what would it be?
The law is to be obligated to be happy, strong, and healthy. Everybody.
I love it. Number 4, what's your next challenge that you're trying to overcome?
To scientifically show that the soul is no longer something abstract, that is pure science.
Amazing. I can't wait for you to do that, Wim. I am going to be, I think, already just sharing energy with you today, I'm feeling like we have a lot of work to do together.
Yes.
And I'm really excited about that. I'm really looking forward to when we can bring people on retreats together and take them through experiences, especially with your connection to Patanjali and the Vedas. And, I just feel a lot of synergy with you. Okay, 5th and final question. What is the biggest lesson you've learned in the last 12 months?
That we are unstoppable.
Amazing. I absolutely love that. Everyone, Wim Hof, please go and follow him on Instagram, Iceman_Hof. Go and get the Wim Hof Method, the book. Wim, I am so excited to collaborate more with you, to connect more with you. And I am so excited for the day that you scientifically prove the presence of the soul. It will be an amazing day for humanity. It will be an amazing day for science. And more importantly, when we show them the pathway that people can actually connect with it as well. So yes. I look forward, Wim, to many more beautiful conversations, but also connections, collaborations, and sharing with each other, because I think I can learn a lot more from you. And I'm genuinely not excited. It's an understatement. I'm so grateful for what you're doing in the world. Genuinely, I'm overwhelmed with gratitude for what you're trying to do in the world.
I can tell you, you are embodying a great natural power of love and conviction, determination. Like I said in the beginning, like Arjuna, we will and we cannot miss. If we collaborate, we will be able to achieve so much more and bring so much more light, which is needed and which is going to be a pleasure of ours to provide.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you.
I bow to you.
And I'm excited to do more of this together. When we can travel, I finally want to meet you.
Yeah, great. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you. And my love to your son and the team and everyone. Thank you so much.
Right on, right on. I will pass it on.
Yes.
You're great, man. Keep on going.
That was awesome. Thank you, man. I love it. I appreciate it, Wim. You're great. Hey everyone, my name's Jay Shetty and welcome to my YouTube channel. Every week I'm sharing 3 videos that are going to help you feel more fulfilled, feel more happy, and more successful. Make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you can find out about the videos as soon as they launch. Press the like button and leave a comment, and let's keep making wisdom go viral together. Make sure you subscribe.
I would like to say thank you for being conscious of the world around you and for being a global
who come back every single week to listen, to learn, and grow. And you know that I make it my best effort to find guests and connect and create conversations that I think are going to serve and support you in amazing ways. And today's guest is going to do exactly that. She's not going to disappoint. And today I'm live from We Day. And if you don't know about We Day, it's part of the We charity and the We movement, where 20,000 kids today are being celebrated for the service they're doing in their local and global communities. It's phenomenal. Now, I've already been out on stage, but our guest today, Catherine McNamara, has not been out on stage yet. We've just sneaked her in here to have a moment to ask her a lot of different questions about her life, her perspective, why she's here today. And for those of you who don't know Catherine, I want to tell you some amazing things about her. So listen to this and listen carefully. Catherine is best known for her role on the teen drama Shadowhunters, which has received 4 Teen Choice Awards and 2 People's Choice Awards. Catherine was the People's Choice Female TV Star of 2018. She now stars in DC Comics series Arrow and was recently cast in the Stephen King miniseries The Stand. She's deeply passionate about charity work and released a song where, listen to this, 100% of the proceeds were donated to the United Nations charity Girl Up. She also helped raise $2 million for Children's Mercy Hospital with Selena Gomez. Catherine, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
It's so wonderful to meet someone who's doing so many incredible things, so incredibly talented, doing this on very little sleep.
Well, it's what I do. I've never needed much sleep.
How much have you slept again, did you say, in the last 24 hours?
I don't exactly know, but most of it happened on an airplane. But no, honestly, people ask me all the time, because I always keep a crazy schedule like this of how I do it with no sleep. And it's because I'm dedicating my time to things that I really care about. You know, I genuinely want to be doing these things. And so, you know, if it means I have to give up a couple hours of sleep, that's worth it.
I love that. And how did you get involved with We Day? I'm fascinated to know the story of how did you find out? How did you hear about it?
So We Day is something that I've known about for a long time. Actually, a lot of my cast members from Shadowhunters have done We Day events all over the world. And it's something that I've been trying to find an opportunity in my schedule and an opportunity where, you know, I have met up with We Day's course of action. And this just happened to be perfect. I just finished up shooting Arrow here and I'm about to start The Stand here as well. And
congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. And so here we are.
So this is your first We Day too?
This is my first We Day.
Mine too.
Oh,
I love this.
Go.
Yeah, awesome. Great. First We Days. Yeah, and that's the same for me. So I've been wanting to get into We Day for so long. Mm-hmm. So many of my friends are involved in We Day. And so it's been a very similar journey.
Well,
so
there we go. Where it's meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to dive into so many things about you. And the first thing I want to talk about is what was your first not your first, what's your favorite memory of growing up in Kansas City?
I think some of my favorite memories growing up in Kansas City all happened at my grandparents' house. They have this house, it's in this beautiful wooded area, and it sort of became my nature playground. Was their backyard. They had all these woods and hills and rocks and things I could climb around and look at the wildlife and just kind of be alone in my imagination. And that, I think, started a lot of my sense of make-believe, which is truly what I believe led me to being an actor. I never wanted to be an actor as a kid. I didn't even know that was a job, coming from a family of science and medical professionals. And I wanted to be an economist as a kid. Wow. So that was totally my track until I, fell into this backwards. But that and just the sense of community there, there's something so special about it, which is why I always go back as much as I can. And that's why I'm so involved with the Big Slick as well, which is the organization that was started by Jason Sudeikis and Paul Rudd and Will Forte, David Koechner, Rob Riggle, Eric Stonestreet, all of these really successful actors that are from Kansas City. And they go back every year. It started as a little poker game. And now this year we raised over $2 million for Children's Mercy Hospital there in 2 days. They calculated all of the numbers. And in the last 10 years, they've raised over $10 million for the hospital. And it's amazing. It's just so lovely to be a part of and really shows the spirit of Kansas City.
That's unbelievable. Mm-hmm. I love that story. And tell me a bit about it, because I love what you shared there. And I joke a lot about how when I was growing up, I had 3 options, either to become a lawyer, a doctor, or a failure, because that's kind of like all I knew about. Yeah. And so when you said that you didn't know that you could be an actor, like you didn't know it existed, I felt the same way about anything in media. Like I didn't think it was a real career. And like you said, your family was medical professionals. Your mom was a scientist.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, tell me about that decision of wanting to be an economist and then falling backwards into this, because I think so many of our viewers are always thinking about finding their passion and finding something that they really believe in. Like you said, doing things that are meaningful.
Absolutely.
How did you switch from economist to this?
It sort of hit me like a brick wall. I was always a huge math nerd. And to this day, I love economics because it's the real world application of the math that I love so much. And I was just so fascinated by the fact that these formulas and graphs and complex math that I learned so much about could actually be used to predict and explain things that happen in the real world. And once I discovered that, it was kind of a runaway train of I became obsessed with different things, particularly developmental economics, because I loved the sort of anthropological aspect that gets thrown into that when you're trying to find ways to help these developing countries exist in the world in a way that they can grow to their full potential. And that fascinated me. But aside from that, I was a ballet dancer as a hobby, and a Girl Scout and a softball player and all these other things. But I ran into a family friend who was directing a community theater production and needed a dancer. And I was the kid who would try anything. So I was like, sure, why not? Let's go do this theater thing and see what that's all about. And I will never forget walking on stage on opening night. You have these moments of clarity in life, and they come few and far between, but you know beyond a doubt when they happen. And I walked on stage and something hit me like a brick wall, and I just knew in that moment that I was put on this earth to tell stories. And I was put on this earth to create characters and to be a part of this communal entertainment form, I guess. And I've never looked back.
I love that. That's so beautiful. And I think you're so right. You articulated so well that we all get an opportunity if we slow down, if we kind of pause a little and take in these experiences, we all get these moments of clarity.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, when you eat something, you know whether you like it or not straight away.
It's true.
But we never do that. We never reflect on that when we're doing something new.
Right.
Or like when we do an activity, like you said, when I walked on stage, you felt it.
Yeah.
And I think we should just check in with ourselves more.
It's true.
When you do something new and be like, did I like that? Like, did I not like that?
I heard somebody give a talk earlier this year about being vulnerable to joy. And there was something I thought was so beautiful in that, because so often we're so focused on what the next thing is or protecting ourselves or whatever it is that we don't allow ourselves to be open to whatever it is that's coming our way.
Yeah.
And so we miss out on so much. And I've tried to really make a concerted effort to do that, to be vulnerable to whatever it is, be it joy, be it a lesson to be learned, be it whatever.
Yeah. Tell me something that you've learned recently or something that you've been learning recently.
Something that I've learned recently is the importance of taking a moment, actually. Just what you said, taking a moment, taking a breath, and just I live a life of a lot of chaos recently. And it's really important to stop and take in those moments and just sit for a minute sometimes and really just be present and absorb what it is that you're in the midst of.
Yeah, I love that. Tell me how, and I mean this genuinely, how does someone finish high school at 14 and get a degree at 17?
Well, this kind of ties into why we're here today.
Yes.
I've always been a huge nerd, but I credit that to one of my very first teachers. She was my preschool teacher. And she saw something in me, this propensity and love for learning, and took the time to foster that. So for me, from my family as well to this teacher, school, learning, education was always presented to me as discovery, as joy, as what can you figure out about the world?
Curiosity.
What can you learn? How can you expand what it is that you know? It was never a chore. It was never something negative. It was never, presented as work in a sense. And so that's how I've always approached learning. And I was allowed to go at my own pace and did a lot of online and correspondence programs that allowed me to do that while still going to the school for art and music and recess and lunch and all the fun things. And it was the perfect storm for me because I got the best of both worlds and accidentally graduated high school at 14.
That is amazing. I love hearing that because I think so many of us have had experiences of school where it was the other two extremes of like boredom, chores, who cares?
Right.
Or in my case, it was very much like performance, getting top grades and like doing well in exams, which also doesn't leave a good impression for kids because it becomes about pressure and pain. And, you're now just trying to catch up with this metric just to show your parents or compare yourself to someone else. So what's your message today to the children on stage? Are you putting that in there? Are they going to hear that?
I'm trying to as much as I can. The topic that I'm discussing is about something a little bit different, but I always try and talk about education because I feel as though so many kids, especially today, either take education for granted or don't see it as something that can be joyful.
Yes.
And it's not to say that, there are going to be assignments or classes or things that are going to be really difficult and not going to be any fun at all. But for me, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a stubborn optimist, but it's all about finding the fun in them. It's, you have to Mary Poppins it a little bit and figure out how to make it fun and how to make it something that you can enjoy because you have to do it either way.
Yeah, no, I love that. There's a study that was done at Yale. I get the scientist's second name wrong, so I don't want to say it. Her first name's Amy. And in my book, I talk about how she talks about how they did a study where they interviewed nurses and cleaners and all these people that work as part of a hospital staff. Mm-hmm. And they spoke to cleaners and they asked them, describe your job. And half the cleaners described it as low-skilled, dirty, a chore, hard, very difficult. And the other half described it completely differently. They used words like healers, transformers, like they felt that they were a part of humans' emotion and they felt that they were building up these relationships with patients. Mm-hmm. And so it's a term that Yale crafted called job crafting. Yeah. And it's like how you view that is what it becomes. And so some of these people felt that their work was so highly skilled and so fulfilling and so meaningful.
It's funny, if there's anything I've learned in kind of becoming an adult is that life is all about perspective. Every morning when you wake up, you can choose to have a great day or to have a terrible day, no matter what happens. It's all about how you view it and how you look at the world. And it really is a series of choices.
And what do you do? What's your choice because you live a busy life, you said you have chaos, you're shooting, you're traveling, you're speaking, you're doing charity work. Like when you get those moments in your day where things are going not the way you planned, what's the choice you're making? How are you bringing it back? I'd love to hear.
I always try and find something good, something that I can focus on that can make me smile or to just laugh at the chaos because how silly things can be and how, absurdly chaotic things can get. It just gets to a point of you have to laugh or you're going to cry and I'd much rather laugh. And it's sort of how I was raised. My whole family does that. My grandmother was the head nurse of an ER for several decades and nothing phases her. She is one of the strongest willed people. Yeah, she's seen everything. And my entire family is of the mind that you can make anything silly. Any situation, you can turn it into laughter. Yeah. And so that's kind of how I was raised. And I try and carry that on and spread that around as much as I possibly can.
Are you a Harry Potter fan?
I'm a huge Harry Potter
You've just reminded me of... What are those things called? My sister's going to hate me for not remembering. What are those things called where they come out as your biggest fear, but you have to imagine it as something funny? You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, and I can't remember for the life of me right now. We're gonna get roasted by all the Harry Potter.
Right. I'm such a Harry Potter fan too, so this is terrible. Boggart. I feel like it's a Boggart.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah,
awesome.
But you know what I'm talking about,
right?
I do. Yeah. And like you see a Dementor, and you have to imagine it as the balloon and the moon that pops or whatever it is. Yeah.
That's exactly
and the
what I'm
spider
talking
with
about.
Ron sees the spider and it's got skates on.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, okay. I love that piece of advice. I've never heard that before, and I think that's awesome.
Okay, if we're talking about Harry Potter, I have to stop you. What's your house?
So when I've been to the Sorting Hat in the Harry Potter studios, and it said Gryffindor.
Okay, I can see that.
But I have a bit of Slytherin in me.
Well, I don't think anyone is purely one house. I have a theory on this.
So I have a bit of Slytherin in me.
Okay,
I like the rebellious, kind of pushing, not evil.
No,
just rebellious and pushing buttons and like trying new stuff.
Yeah.
How about you?
I would say I'm Ravenclaw with Gryffindor tendencies and a sprinkle of Hufflepuff.
Oh, okay.
That's what I've come to determine.
Okay, so no Slytherin in you then.
I mean, maybe a little, but not enough to claim it.
I love it. I'm glad we dove into Harry Potter. We've never done that on any podcast ever before.
Go.
But no, that advice of, laugh and see how silly things are. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes it takes us time to see that, but actually we can do that in the moment and we can laugh at it. Like, please be a Boggart. Please.
Yes.
I have to check that. You say that being a chameleon is one of your favorite things about your job. Mm-hmm. Tell me more about that.
It's something that I see in the best of actors and something I've really worked hard to try and emulate in my career. You see it in actors like Meryl Streep and Sam Rockwell and, the actors of that nature where they completely transform. Every single character they play is entirely different in look, in physicality, in the way that they interact with the other characters in the world around them, the way they speak, the way they walk. And that's something that I think is essential to our job because we have the opportunity to walk a million different lives and play a million different people and figure out how they work. And I think the farther I can push myself to completely transform and immerse myself in every character I play, the more diverse of a Rolodex of characters I'll be able to play, but also the better I'll be able to serve the story.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a part of a story to put myself forward. I'm a part of the story to kind of be within that canvas and within that cast of characters and to, serve the greater arc of whatever the story is telling and play my piece and, play my part well and serve the greater machine of the story. And, it's also really fun to see how far you can go in a different direction and be somebody completely different.
Absolutely. And what's your process? Like, do you do method acting? Would you see yourself considering that? Or what's your process to really get into a role? Like, is it research? Is it spending time? What's your habits? I want to know how you break it down when you get
It's a little bit of everything, honestly. And it differs based on the project and what it requires. So I always do as much research as I can, given that I'm a huge nerd.
Yes.
And it helps me to know as much as I can because then it will kind of help inherently, even if I'm not actively thinking about it, if I have the knowledge, it'll be in the back of my head when I need it. And then, if there's source material, I'll definitely go read it. Like for Shadowhunters, I read the Mortal Instruments series just because so much of it is told from Clary's perspective.
Yes.
And even though our series was very different, at least I had that knowledge and I had that in the back of my head that I could pull little bits from. Or with Arrow, because I was playing Oliver and Felicity's daughter, given that their characters were so iconic and so well developed, I went through and watched the entire series so that I could pull little qualities and nuances and quirks and things to pepper through so that she really was an amalgamation of these two characters that audiences know so well. Yeah. So I'll do a bit of that. And then, I love Pinterest. So I'll go on Pinterest and I'll look up different clothing or different hair and makeup looks or whatever it is to see kind of what I can piece together and see something that I might not have thought of or something that I might, this, that, or if there's an accent required or if, I do as much as I can and then try and watch a few similar tonal projects or similar characters to see what other people have done in similar situations, just to try and get as many ideas as I can get, as much influence as I can to see what I like, what I don't, what I want to pull, what I want to incorporate, what's in the back of my head, just so I have as much information as I can to play with on the day.
Mm-hmm. That makes complete sense.
Yeah.
I love what an intellectual pursuit acting is. It's great.
It can be.
It can be. When I'm listening to you.
And that's about 50% of it.
Yeah.
I always say I do 50% of my work before I get there, and then 50% of it happens on the day. Because so much of it depends on the director and the other actors in the scene and the set when you get there and the environment. Because half of acting is interacting with the other people and with the environment around you. So if I come in and I've done all my work and I'm solidly set in what I'm going to do, I don't have any flexibility and there's no room for play.
Yeah.
So you have to get there and be able to kind of bounce around and adapt and go, okay, let's play ball. Let's pass this tennis ball back and forth and see what happens.
Yeah, I think that's a great rule. 50% before, 50% afterwards. Because sometimes we try to prepare 100% and then almost you paralyze yourself when you're in the zone, right?
Do.
You can't be playful and mess around.
And my favorite moments are those little magic things that happen that surprise you.
Totally.
That you finish a take and you go, I did not expect it to go that way at all. I did not expect to feel that whatsoever, but holy moly, that was great.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And it's funny, now we need to find you to be casted as an economist because then you won't have to prepare.
Perfect.
You can just go in.
Let's do it.
And just play.
That is what my degree is in. So
yeah,
there you go.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. And if you were playing an economist, do you know any cool economist stories? Or like any historical pieces? There must be something cool.
Unless I'm playing Alan Greenspan, which I really don't think I would be cast as. I'm going to have to do some research.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's some crazy stories of female economists that are like.
I'll find it.
Yeah, we'll find it. We'll find it. Okay. I know that you love Disney.
I do.
You do love Disney. If you could be a voice actor,
Ooh.
if you could be the voice of any character of any Disney movie, who would it be?
Oof. There's so many things I'd love to do. I mean, they keep creating all these wonderful new stories. And, when I was a kid, I was always looking for these badass female characters. So Mulan and Pocahontas were my girls.
Yes.
Like they were the ultimate for me. I wanted to be Mulan as a kid. I had her poster on my wall. It was great. But I'd love to be a part of pretty much any universe. I think Pixar and Disney are doing so many wonderful things right now. And I love the Disney Pixar movies because they're so fun. And you go back and you watch the movies that you loved as a kid and you can still enjoy them as an adult. It's fascinating that there's so many layers to them that you don't even realize. So I'd love to be a part of that world. I mean, it's something that I've worked for Disney for a long time and they're such a wonderful company.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you seen that series? You reminded me of something else. We keep going totally off tangent, but you keep feeding into all my passions. Have you seen Wreck-It Ralph, the second one?
I haven't. That's the one I haven't seen.
I'm not going to give it away, but you can go on YouTube and watch this scene. You don't watch the scene first.
Okay.
But there's a scene where all the Disney princesses are there and they're telling their stories, but in a very fun, like in a very educational but funny way.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, about women empowerment and badass women. So it's just, I'm not going to give it away.
Okay.
But I want you to watch it. Even watch
I will. It's in the second movie?
It's genius. Yeah, it's so well done. And it's Disney almost making fun of themselves for how they portrayed princes, but it's brilliant. It's really good.
I find self-aware comedy to be the most fun because it allows for suspension of belief, but also, you can laugh at yourself a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you've got to go on stage soon. So
I do.
I've got to rush to the rapid fire section. So I ask a final 5, which are fast 5 questions.
Okay.
1 word or 1 sentence answers.
All right.
So here we go. Here's your final 5. What's the biggest risk you've ever taken?
Ooh, biggest risk I've ever taken. I moved to New York City after booking a job within a week and didn't know what I was doing, didn't know how long I was going to be there, but I just said, all right, here we go. And I was 14.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
You left that out. The very important detail.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. What's the toughest decision you've ever made?
Toughest decision I ever made was there was a time in this is kind of an existential decision. There was a time in my life where I could have chosen to stay in a very dark place and allow that to consume me, or choose to frame it positively and make the difficult choice of, at least at the time, of looking on the bright side and finding that silver lining. And I was lucky enough to be surrounded by people that helped me do that and helped me steer down a very healthy path as opposed to a very unhealthy path. And here I am today.
Well, if you don't mind, next time we're both in LA, we both live there, I'd love to unpack that a bit more with you. Actually.
Yeah, sure.
That would be
let's
amazing
talk.
to talk about that. Okay. Third question. The first thing you do in the morning?
Usually I roll out of bed, eat an apple, and go to the gym.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love working out in the morning. It starts my day right, and it's usually the only time I have.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, 4th question. The last thing you do every night?
Last thing I do every night, I usually, what do? I make sure I take all my makeup off. I'm really, really particular about taking care of my skin. I have to be in this job that we do. I usually call my mom before I go to bed, just check in, see how her day was, and then make sure I don't have any emails to look at, and then off I go.
Amazing. And your 5th and final question, what's one message you'd love to share with all of the kids who are serving through We Day and having such a huge impact?
I would like to say thank you for being conscious of the world around you and for being a global citizen and serving kind of this world that we share and this human race that we have, because it's so important to think beyond yourself and beyond your own life and your own realm to take care of everyone in the world that we live in. It's I always feel if everyone took just a couple of seconds every day to think of someone else and to do something kind for somebody else, the world would be a lot better place. And you guys are already doing that.
Completely agree. Everyone, Catherine, thank you so much. Catherine, you're amazing. And I can't wait to dive in to so many more of these areas with you. I feel I've learned so much more about you today too. And I hope we can do this again. Genuinely.
I would love to.
There are so many things that I would love to unpack with you even more.
Let's do it.
But yeah, thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm so grateful that you come back every single week to listen, learn, and grow. And today is a very special episode for a million reasons. I'm going to start with a couple to get going with. This is the first time that Radhi and I are going to do an interview together.
Yeah.
So this is fun. And there's a special reason for why we're doing it together. Because today we're interviewing two of our dearest friends, incredibly talented, the most creative, who have launched a brand new EP called Rise, which we cannot wait for you to hear. It is none other than Willow and Genevieve Harrison.
Woo! Thank you for having us.
Thank you. This is exciting.
We're so grateful to be with both of you. And
Sounds like a vibe. Sounds like a plan.
But I'm so excited to have you both here. We're both so excited to have you here, and just excited to just have this whole energy here, which we have anyway all day long.
Yes.
And so why not bring it into an interview? So Radhi's going to go with the first question, actually.
I am. Let me get my professional Jay Shetty vibe on. Okay, so Willow and Genevieve, tell me about the first time you guys made your music together.
Oh, well, that would be Surrender.
Yeah.
I just have to put it out there. I was super nervous the first time we got in the studio together because, you know, listening to your music and seeing you doing kirtan, it was a level of like channeling that I had never seen another musician have. And so I was just like wanting to be worthy, like so badly to be able to make music with you. So that was my initial emotion. When we first started making music together.
I was probably feeling the same way. It was actually such a magical experience. And just as it worked out, I was only in LA for about, I think, like 8-9 days. Mm-hmm. And we only managed to actually get together in the studio the night before I was flying out. Yep. So we knew we had like 6 hours or so, or actually we had as much time as we wanted, but we could only meet in the evening. Exactly. So we were like, okay, there's only so long we're going to go for. Mm-hmm. But there was just such a special energy, actually. We had met up and we had practiced something, and I was nervous too, because I find the studio can be a lot of pressure, and
especially when there's not like a idea that's already set.
Exactly. Yeah. We didn't have a finished composition or anything, but I think both of us were just feeling excited to work together, and we were like, let's just see what happens. Let's just have fun with this. And if it's not anything, we'll just have had a fun experience and we can work on it another time. And we got so absorbed in it. And it just was flowing. And I remember that, you know, it was around midnight when we finished. We were like, okay, let's listen to the whole thing now. And we were just standing there, and Willow was like, we were like,
we were delirious at this point.
Yeah, we were tired, but we were just, and then we came out of the studio and we were like, what was that? Exactly. What just happened? That was so beautiful. And that it was just so natural. Yeah. So, and
it's very rare that I have those kind of like synergistic, is that a word?
Yeah.
Experiences with other artists, because artists are so, I know I'm very opinionated and I have very outlandish ideas, and sometimes the push and pull of that can be kind of uncomfortable. But for me and Genevieve, it was like second nature from the start.
It felt like old friends, and even though we're so different in many ways, there was just this feeling of ease and understanding, which is, it's like, that's what you always hope for in collaboration with other artists. So yeah, we were like, we have to do this again.
Yeah. I love that. The reason it's so special as well is that Radhi and I both absolutely adore you individually in your own music. So like we would be in a car, we'd be playing and listening to you, Willow. Yeah. Like we'd just be listening to your music. And then I've known Genevieve now for 15 years. And so I've always been attracted to her music and the way she creates and how devotional it is. Mm-hmm. And so for us to see you both together is just, it's so fulfilling. So I want to ask you both, and we're going to uncover all the layers as we go along. But
I also, just before you start, I also just want to thank you both.
Yes.
For bringing us together.
Round of applause.
You guys were meant to meet either way, like whether it was through us or whether it was through another way, there was 100%, like you guys were meant to meet. This was meant to happen, and everybody needed this in their life. So I think it was just happened to be us, but it would have been somewhere, somehow it would have happened, because you guys.
But I think you need to take some credit, because it's because of what you.
I'll take it.
If you don't want to take it, I'll take it. It's,
But I think you're both
Carry on.
you're both such special people that you attract such wonderful souls all around you, and you're always, I think it's probably going to happen throughout your lives that you're making these beautiful connections. So yeah, we always talk about that. We're so grateful that you introduced us.
It's just selfish, really, because I really wanted some like new music of yours today.
Which artist can I bring together?
No,
Yeah,
thank you. You guys are both really sweet. Like, we love you for that, and we're loving seeing both of your collaboration and friendship, and our friendship all blossoming because of this devotional connect that we all have. And I want to ask you, what have you both learned from each other in this process? And it can be musical or non-musical. It can be anywhere you want to go with it.
A lot of things.
I'll say I feel I've learned so much from Willow. I think one of the very obvious things about the process of working together was our different like pace and way of approaching creative work. And Willow's obviously had so much more experience as a recording artist, as a composer. You know, you've recorded so much and composed written your own songs. And for me, even though I have recorded music, it's still something I get very nervous about, because most of what I do is sort of live meditation experiences. So we hadn't worked together that much apart from that one song. So I didn't really know Willow's sort of style and
Especially
pace.
with production.
Yeah. And the first day I was taken aback. I was like, wow, Willow's so confident about what she's looking for in the sound, and also fast paced. And I tend to be quite too slow sometimes. Like, people are always wanting me to make decisions faster. So although it was like, by the end of it, I was like, wow, this has really pushed me creatively in such a wonderful way. Initially, I was like,
I know. I was trying to like,
not in a bad way, not in a scary way, but it was just like, when you're just like, oh, okay, I'm going to be growing here. I'm going to learn something
You
here.
up a gear.
Yeah, it took me up a gear. But I love that. I was sharing with someone the other day that Willow's approach is I feel it's the ideal artistic approach, which is to be,
thank you.
Yeah, it's to be curious and not overly controlling of the end result. Like, it's really to discover, for the studio to be a space of exploration, rather than like, I want to have this specific thing and it can't be anything other than that. Totally. It's a very playful and curious approach. And I think I can tend to be more focused on like, okay, but it has to be just like this. So yeah, but by the end of it, I just felt like, wow, I'm ready to be just more fearless in creating and more open to what I could discover. That's just one thing. There's many more, but I'll let you.
I think, I would even almost say like the inverse. Like, I felt in times that I was overshooting and like kind of getting lost in but what about this? And we could do this, and maybe it's this. And like, I felt like Genevieve was really instrumental in like kind of grounding me and being like, okay, what's the intention behind this? Like, I know you like that sound, but why are we using that sound? You know what I mean? Like, what's the where does that sound go in the song? What is that sound gonna say? Like, what's the intention of this? So like your intentionality with everything, you might think that it's sometimes a hindrance, but I think it's a blessing, because in your heart of hearts what every single instrument and every single lyric means to you. And you're not just throwing things at the wall. Like, let's see if this sticks and maybe this, you know what I mean? And I think those two approaches, they just complete each other in a really nice way. As they say, opposites attract.
Yes.
And I think that this was a case of that.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel, both of you together and individually, what was your intention for the music that you were creating together?
I always want my music to bring people closer to themselves, make them feel like they're learning something, or there's a thought that's being planted that grows over time. And listening to Genevieve's music, that's exactly how I felt. And then seeing it live, it was like, okay, how can I just bottle this?
Yeah.
Just to, like, I just want to have this. Obviously, that's the beautiful nature of it, because you can't bottle it and you can't just have it. That's why it's beautiful. But you know, I think that going into it, that was and I had never made a devotional album before.
Yeah.
So I was even extra excited to explore that different part of me and what I could do with this new, you know, with this new path in my life.
I think also just speaking from having heard you do it and just hearing you talk about it when we're all having lunch or when we're hanging out, and just, I feel like your intention was so pure for it. Like from the moment that you first heard devotional music, I remember the first time we were doing a session, and then I was like, oh crap, I can't sing. And then Radhi can sing, but she chooses not to. And then we were like, oh, let's play Jahnavi on our phone. And then that's the first time we all meditated in that way.
And then there's Willow on the floor.
Yeah.
I know, just like,
oh my goodness. Like just fully with your heart open, like ready to receive. And that's the one thing about you, like, and actually on that note, when you were even thinking about doing this album, I feel like from what Jahnavi has told me and even experiencing from you, you wanted to get things so right. Yes. So whether it was your pronunciation or whether it was like, oh, what does this word actually mean? Yes. Like, oh, how is this word used? Like you really want to understand the depths. You're not just trying to...
And that journey, I want it to continue, and I want to keep nourishing that. Because just through this music, I've found such a deep love for just the Bhakti tradition in general. And I'm just so excited to just dive deeper into that and learn more and just broaden my horizon in that devotional sense.
Which is so beautiful. Like you want depth. You don't just want, just like, oh, this sounds really good.
Exactly.
You really wanted to understand it and feel it in you so that other people can feel it.
Definitely.
And I think that makes a difference. Like both of you feel it so deeply and you've experienced it in different ways. So you're trying to share that experience with other people, but you can only share an experience that you've had yourself.
Exactly.
And so I think you really feel that through both of your music and through your words, and it comes from your heart. So, but I haven't heard from you. Your turn.
No, I think that definitely that was our desire to try to capture the essence of what that is, this experience with mantra, with sacred sound, and share it in a way that makes it that little bit more accessible for people who haven't experienced it before. So that's manifest in the form of, these songs, like the typical mantra session might be like half an hour, and you're singing the same thing over and over again. That might be very daunting for someone who's never experienced that before. So one of our mantra tracks is 2 minutes long, and some of our songs are, touching on stories or themes from the Bhakti tradition, but they're more in a kind of typical song format with, a couple verses, a bridge like that. So it's something familiar, but it's conveying something of this deep, authentic tradition. And so I think it's very natural that when something profoundly affects your life and touches your heart and offers a space of shelter and upliftment, you want to share it with other people. So that's what we want to just give it as a gift, if we can. And I really treasure the fact that we both had that same intention, and it makes working on anything just a complete joy, because you feel so aligned, and
and that trust was really there. Like we both knew our intentions, and so trying to do things over long distance because of COVID, and having to make decisions maybe without one another because of time differences, and that trust was always there because we knew that our intentions were the same.
Which is also probably why what you were saying before about how your differences actually didn't make a difference in a negative way, because you both had such a deep-rooted intention that even if, I'm not saying you guys did, but even if there was something that you're like, oh gosh, like,
exactly.
But as soon as you take yourself back to the intention, you guys were like, oh.
And there were a couple of those things.
Yeah, of course.
There were.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Which could bring feuds to people, but because of how deep-rooted everything was for you, it kind of just didn't hit that strongly. It was,
we just had to talk it through. I remember we had a long phone call because we were trying to do creative things over long distance, and there were other artists that were involved, and we just had to call each other and just be like, man, like this is really hard, like, and that was that was really healing for both of us, I feel. Just to be able to express that to one another and to be able to like kind of come back and be like, this is why we're doing this. Let's not stress about something in a material sense, because that's not why we're doing it anyway. So that was a good convo.
Yeah, that was wonderful. And even I would say even in terms of the musicality of what we were doing, like, you know, Willow was taking the role of producer, and I know it takes me a lot to sort of sometimes break out of the box of the sound of what I do, which is often rooted quite in the traditional origins of the kirtan tradition. So I remember we were playing with different sounds and with, you know, kind of bass sounds and electronic sounds, and Willow was getting so excited on the little sampler, and I was just sitting behind her like, okay, let's see where this goes. But I always, you know, initially I was like, okay, let's see, but then I really felt a sense of trust because I knew, as we've said, that we were both aiming for people to have this heart connection with the music. So I was like, I'm going to see where Willow takes it. And I trust, you know, we're both aiming for the same space. And that's a beautiful thing.
There were a lot of things that at first seemed to you to be like, oh, that sound is a little deep. That's a deep bass. And I'm like, but trust me, Jonathan, people are going to hear this and go, oh, it's going to hit right in their chest. And then you hear it and then you're like, oh, wow. Like, I see this.
And I feel that.
Exactly.
I feel that.
And it's such a, like, how you guys are communicating now. You can just see there's no ego involved in it. It's like, you're like, yeah, you were right. And you're like, yeah, you were right. And just the communication, I imagine it's so difficult. Even in relationships, it's sometimes difficult, even if you've known someone for such a long time.
Totally.
You're sometimes scared of saying something that you think might hurt their feelings.
Totally.
But, you know, you guys have built you've built a foundation on honesty and integrity. And so it's easy for you guys to communicate because you know where that person's coming from.
100%.
Yeah. I think it's a really important part of the story that you guys created this during COVID, during lockdown.
Definitely.
Being in different parts of the world for a big part of this work, coming together for a very short part of it.
Yeah.
It's like you created a really collaborative piece at a time when the music's needed most, at a time when it's actually difficult to be collaborative and creative.
Definitely.
Like the relationship you guys built, just to anyone who's listening or watching right now, it's fun to watch you both just go back and forth. But to think about the fact that you've actually done this at a time when you weren't always in the same room, I think that's a really important thing to honor. And what I'm intrigued by now is to understand from both of you and to hear from both of you about your own journey. So Willow, we'll start with you in terms of, tell us about your own journey. You've been sharing so much more about mental health, anxiety, your own healing, always through your music, but also through your words. Tell us about your journey towards wanting to do more, even more healing, devotional music that you felt is going to help people this year, because this collaboration you both created this year was truly wanting to help people
100%
with the pain that everyone's been going through. So tell us a bit about your journey to that over the last, decade.
Ooh, it's a lot. I mean, I don't want to go into like my whole life story, but I mean, is that what
we're listening?
Should I do that or should I?
Wherever your heart wants to go. We're with you. We're with you the whole way. Whatever you genuinely feel like sharing from the heart.
Totally.
Yeah.
So my first interest in, the lifestyle of just integrity and spirituality and meditation, I was introduced to that at a very young age. My mother had a bunch of beautiful art pieces and books about Hindu gods and goddesses. And I would just sit on the floor of her meditation room and just like look at these beautiful photos and read, about the sentiments of these gods and goddesses. And from a very young age, I was so encapsulated by that and so inspired by that. And, fast forward to, me doing all the Whip My Hair stuff and being a pop star and having to realize that that's not the content that I wanted to put out into the world. That's not really the person that I wanted to be. And that was a really difficult decision to make.
What made you realize that?
I would go out and I would be with peers, like kids my age, and I would just be stopped and constantly, oh, that's the girl from Whip My Hair. Oh, can you da-da-da? And I just saw my other friends being able to live and being able to have experiences and being able to make mistakes and not have the whole world know what's going on with them. And so that kind of made me think, like, is this really truly the life that I want to be living? Like, I want to actually live. I don't just want to be like a caricature for the world to look at, you know? So that took a lot of courage to just say, you know what, I'm not going to continue. There were a lot of people who had invested in me. There were projects that were already paid for, scripts that were already written that I had to go back on. I'm surprised that I didn't get sued. It was a crazy time. But through that, I was like, okay, now that I'm free of this lifestyle that I don't want to live, now what's the lifestyle I want to live? And so I was so confused. I kind of went into just a spiral of just like depression, desperation. I was self-harming. I was hanging out with people that were just wrong for me. And that lasted for about 2 to 3 years. And then I started realizing this is psychotic, literally. Like, I have to stop doing this. This is not the person I want to be either. So I was like, okay, I hadn't been recording music during that time. So I was like really in the dark, like no creative outlet, no.
You weren't doing anything creative?
No, I was really just in the dark, in the darkness, I should say. And so then I started kind of coming out of my shell and trying to get back into the studio, which felt so like weird and daunting because I was like, what do I make? Like, am I gonna go back and just be like, hey, like, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? So like the first song that I had put out was called Sugar and Spice. You could probably find it somewhere, but it was a Radiohead loop. And I remember just listening to that and going, I think I can continue. Like that little spark of like inspiration was just like, ooh, like I think I'm coming back. Yeah. And so, you know, ever since then, I've just been kind of digging more into that. And as I've gone deeper just over that time of just, you know, trying different types of music out, learning how to play the guitar, I just really realized that I just want to be in service. The only thing that makes, you know, having this lifestyle worth it, and for me to feel like I have a purpose at all and to not fall back into that dark spiral, was making music that I felt would inspire people and that I felt would be in service to others. And that's really the only reason why I feel like I got out of that dark place, because people would come to me and tell me, you know, that they were in that same dark space that I was and that my voice brought them out of that. And that would just bring me so much joy and just make me feel like I had a purpose. Like there's a reason why I have all of these resources and why, you know, people are looking at me and why I'm in the tabloids and all of this. And so it just gave me a reason. And this is just expanding on that reason. And I'm just so excited to continue to expand that reason and to grow that reason and help that reason spread to others.
Thank you for
That is
sharing
beautiful.
that.
Thank you for so much for sharing
Yeah,
that. That is
was-
beautiful. Like, that's phenomenal. It's amazing how you came to that conclusion for yourself, that service was where you wanted to be. And that's at the heart of devotional music. Like, that is it. So it's incredible to hear you explain just the natural challenges that come with your experience of life and the kind of back and forth and the recognition of both, that I don't want to be this, but I also don't want to be.
Exactly.
That's thank you so much for sharing that.
All before the age of 20.
I know, yeah. Oh yeah, Willow just turned 20.
It's a crazy life. It's a crazy life, y'all. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. And Janavi, I want to hear from you because, so as I was saying before, Janavi and I have known each other for 15 years. Radhi's probably known Janavi for like 10.
Since 2012-ish.
Okay,
No, I heard Genevieve 2010 or
Right,
something.
yeah.
So a good 10 years.
Yeah, known each other for about
I was a
8.
fangirl. Yeah.
The first time we met, Radhi was like, this is a tattoo I got inspired by
Inspired
your
by your music.
Wow.
And she was like, oh, okay.
I love that.
She was like, that's not what you're meant to do. But you know, Janavi, you grew up in the Bhakti tradition.
Yeah.
And so this music has been a part of your life forever.
Yeah.
And it's been a part of your soul. But also it was different being someone who's a consumer of it or hearing it, but then to actually creating and sharing it. Like that journey must have been really interesting. Can you share that with us, that transition of growing up listening to it, but then actually being someone who's sharing this tradition and culture so widely?
Yeah. Well, I grew up being involved in it all the time, every day, really. We would I attended a school at the temple that was very near to my house. So the school was, we did regular academic subjects, but we also studied the Bhagavad Gita and we did chanting together before we started our school day. So that was very normal, but it was collective. It was, I wasn't singing on my own or anything. And also my dad was very well known as a singer of kirtan all over Europe and other countries of the world. Back in the cassette tape days, the cassettes used to be everywhere. And so as I got older, I mean, he was like a hero. He is a hero to me, but we loved his singing and I felt, I always loved music, but as I got older, people would be like, "Oh, do you sing like your dad?" And like sing,
Hate that.
Yeah.
Well, you must know nothing about that.
Yeah. So
Nothing in common, you guys.
No, I know. So I think I was quite shy as a child, very shy and introverted, and I also felt this pressure that people are like wanting to see if I'm also going to be like my dad, and so I was too shy to I didn't really know that I knew I could sing because I sang in my bedroom in the shower, but I didn't know. I remember actually I went to regular school for a few years, and in my first year of regular school, and this is something we share as well, like a bit of unusual schooling experiences. But I was so shy, and it was because growing up with this tradition, I knew that I'm a little bit different from other kids, and I've grown from the age of 4 talking about life and death and the body being like a coat that you take off and put on a new body. Like these kind of concepts, reincarnation and karma, and kids don't talk about that kind of stuff. So I was really, really shy, and the school play was the end of year school play was The Wizard of Oz, and my teacher cast me as the Cowardly Lion. Because I think she knew that it would help me to, she could see that I was shy, but it would be good for me to play a role that would kind of bring me out of myself. So I remember I had to sing a song on my own on the stage and swing my tail around. And it was this moment where I was like, oh my God, I'm singing in front of people. And it's nice, but that was it then for many years. And it wasn't until I was 19, 20, around your age, that I started to lead kirtan. People were friends were just encouraging me. And I found that it was something that I felt more and more connected with. But it is because it's such a deep tradition, and it's a form of prayer, a form of worship. It is kind of a thing where you have to navigate your ego, because it's not a performance genre of music. It's a prayer and an offering. So for many years, I didn't really identify with being a person to sort of go out in the world and share this with lots of people. It was just something I did within my community. But as circumstance goes, sometimes destiny finds you and you try and push something away. Many times, I think, Jay and I have had probably many conversations over the years where I've been like, I just don't know if this is what I meant to do, or yeah, I do this, that kind of thing where you keep trying to turn away from something, but it kept coming back to me, kept knocking on my door.
Both of us kept on trying to go, no music.
Yeah.
No music. And it was like, yes.
Yeah. When you have to write on a form, occupation, and I would always stop and be like, what do I write there? Because I wrote, I did art, I was a dancer, but I didn't want to write musician or artist or writer. I just didn't know what to write because I didn't fully identify with being able to say, this is what I am. So yeah, it came bit by bit. And I think one of the big catalysts for me with feeling confident to try to accept the role of embracing my creativity and engaging it in service of spreading this type of music more is the fact that yoga, meditation, mindfulness, those things over the last 10 years became so much more mainstream than they ever were. And when I was a child, I never would have imagined that would be the case. I thought that was just the strange way that I grew up, and that like kids used to ask me like, so why don't you, like, why are you vegetarian? And why do you have a name like that and stuff like that? And but now it's like, no, this is pretty normal, especially in LA. It's so yeah, it's been a journey, but I'm so grateful to be doing this now. It brings me so much fulfillment.
Yeah, we're grateful to you too for sticking it through and continuing on, and we're never going to let you quit. So
I don't want to quit.
Johnny, music is going to keep coming back.
I know.
but we love that. Yeah, we love that. Both of you, for everyone who's listening and watching, I think there's such a pressure these days for young people, especially to find their purpose or discover what they want to do for the rest of their lives. And you can see in both of the way you were experiencing, it's kind of not been like that. It's kind of been much more of this meandering path, then kind of getting lost and then refining and then feeling stuck and then questioning everything and then finding it. And this almost like magical approach to like, I found my purpose or I found my, calling. Exactly. It doesn't work like that. And it's nice to see two people who are creating and artistic, but it's kind of coming over time.
It's such a process. It's such a journey, and there's so many internal obstacles that need to be looked at and that need to be worked on until you can step into your calling, until you can step into your purpose fully. And God knows I'm still trying to step in.
Yes.
I'm still trying to step in.
Yeah.
What would you say are both of your, daily things that you do in your lives that help enrich you or uplift you? What are the things that you've started to do? Yeah, I think on a daily basis, because I feel like they're the things that really make, a difference if you're doing something regularly.
You're so good at this.
Yeah.
I've watched a few of your. No, I haven't. No. I haven't, but thank you. Please continue.
Well, I find that daily meditation, I practice mantra meditation daily, and that is something that I really hold on to. Like I imagine, if you take life to be like a river, that is, the current is flowing very fast. In some of these sacred rivers in India where people, they take a dip, as a purifying kind of act, they have these metal chains that are in the water that you hold on to when you go in to make sure you don't get swept away. So I see the mantra meditation as sort of like this chain to hold on to in the rushing current of life. And it really, even though it's not easy, I know Willow has, a yoga practice she's been cultivating for a long time. To do anything daily is not an easy thing. And you don't always feel like doing it. And sometimes you do it robotically. And then you're like, I got to come back to, the deeper reason of why I'm doing this. But to just keep that commitment, it develops a relationship with sacred space within. It develops a relationship with the divine that really is, it's a lifesaver. It gives me inspiration. It gives me sense of connection, and it's a meditation. That the particular mantra that I recite daily, the meditation is on how can I be of service, and a prayer for service. Please allow me to be of service in this life. So I love how Willow was describing that service. It brings you out of that space, because every day we have to push against our tendency to be self-absorbed. It's like at every moment we tend to be caught in our head thinking about our own worries and things like that. And to turn that around to how can I serve? It's such a dramatic, state change. And so for me, that helps. It helps then, whether I'm doing one thing or another, just to keep connecting with that core reason of why, of what is the purpose of my existence, to serve. It makes things a lot more simpler and joyful.
Yeah. I'm just going to piggyback off of what Janavi said. Yes, I've been cultivating a yoga practice for about, I want to say 2 year and a
We
half.
we see those posts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to
That's
say
on
2
point.
years or a year and a half. And, another thing, aside from meditation that I try to do daily, sometimes it doesn't happen. I read every day. Right now I'm reading Inner Engineering by Sadhguru. So that's something that I've been putting my time into every day. So whether it's, literature, yoga, or meditation, one of those things is happening every day. So I'm just like Genevieve said, I truly believe that consistency and that repetition is what's needed in order to get into a state where it is second nature, where you don't have to think about it anymore, where it's habitual.
Part of you.
Exactly. And that's where I'm trying to be. That's where I'm striving to.
I think what you both are doing, keeping it consistent, that's probably how, you've realized what the benefits are, that living a life without it, that feels more unnatural than doing the practice. Oh, I was thinking about how, both of your practices are things which people have been doing for years, such an ancient thing that people have been doing. But what's incredible about your music is that I think it's shown so many people who are probably unfamiliar with meditation, unfamiliar with yoga, or see it as something that's so unfamiliar, that meditation music or mantra music is for everybody. Like, it's such a universal thing that so many different types of people can connect to it just by your different backgrounds, that you two have connected to it in such a different way. And how you're sharing it, it's beautiful to see how different meditation music and devotional music can actually be, and how many different types of people it can connect.
Yeah.
I'm glad you put that bass on it so I could turn it up in the car.
See, I knew it.
Yes.
I needed that.
Right.
I knew it.
I love it. The first time I heard it, I was telling Genevieve, I was just like, it's just all the music, what you've made it's like that perfect combination between being timeless and pure, but then being current and relevant.
Exactly.
And you've created, in my opinion, whatever it's worth, like, it sounds like a no genre. Like, it's new, it's different. It's not, you can't just go, oh yeah, that's that kind of music. I wouldn't even put it under meditational music. Like, it's beyond that. And I think that, credit to both of your artistry to be able to expand that much. What's different about creating devotional music for both of you, and Genevieve, for you to stretch out of your comfort zone from a music place of now creating this new genre that you have together? So for Willow, for you, more like what's different about creating devotional music for you from your perspective, and then Genevieve, from yours, like almost going the other way and like, oh, now we're creating something a bit newer to what I'm used to.
My lyrics that, in the Willow album and in Ardipithecus, my first album, I talk a lot about duality. I talk a lot about spirit. I talk a lot about, cycles. I have a song that's called Cycles on my first album. The language is very modern. And what I love about Sanskrit is that it's deeper than language. And I think the real difference is bringing that ancient vibration to it that isn't just coming from me. It's coming from generations and generations of deeply spiritual individuals who have carried this on. And I think, feeling that is the biggest difference for me, because it's not just me coming up with something.
Wow.
Powerful.
That's really powerful. Yeah, that's incredible to think of it like that. That's so well articulated. That's beautiful. Thank you.
Bravo.
You accept me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Wow. I've been hit by your articulation of that. That's so beautiful. Yeah. I think it's so interesting because I think for me, it was almost, I wouldn't say the opposite, because naturally we're trying to retain the purity of devotional space. And like with recording, we set up a little altar, like in the studio. It's really nice to have that feel to be a sacred space.
That intention, like you're making it.
Yeah. But with this EP, because most of the time I'm singing mantra, which which obviously those words are not mine. I'm putting my heart, my prayer into it, but I'm also trusting the power of that ancient vibration, that timeless vibration to touch the heart of another. And for that reason, I don't take credit when someone has, a powerful experience with it. It's like, oh yeah, that's what it does. That's what it does to me too. So I'm just trying to, facilitate this experience. But with this album, I definitely was stretching myself because I think just before we came together, I'd been recently feeling a lot more inspired to write lyrics in English that convey some of these ideas and themes, definitely. Which was daunting for me because it's something I hardly ever do, let alone record. I have tons of voice notes in my phone, which will never see the light of day, ideas that I've had. But it was so cool because I didn't think we would actually work on those things. But when I showed some of them to Willow, she was so encouraging and excited about it. And I was sort of like, well, what do you think? Like, you add your lyrics in too. She was like, no, I love this. I think we should go for it. I was like, really? I don't know. And then so to actually bring some of those ideas to life, for me, that was a beautiful experience of being able to come outside of the space of, okay, this is just mantra. It's not me, but here's this, ancient sound vibration, to actually, here's some words that I wrote, which convey how I want to, take a snapshot of this, this sentiment, for instance, of surrender, or
you've experienced it,
how I've experienced it, or what's meaningful to me or to us, and for me, that was a really, that was extremely powerful. I came away being like, whoa, I didn't know I could do that.
Yes.
So I'm so grateful for that. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I could feel that sense of hesitancy. That's why I was like, yes. I was like, let's go full fledged.
Yeah. Like, are you sure? She's like, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was like, you gonna know the greatness of you today.
What's the both of you live real lives in the real world. You go through your challenges every single day, and people who listen to this are going through their own challenges. What's been something that's been really beautiful or powerful for both of you individually that you feel has helped you discover answers at tough times, or find new directions at tough times? What is it that both of you have turned to in your own life, whether it be musical or not, that you think that almost, what is it that people can do to express themselves more? Because it feels like so many of our feelings do get bottled up and do just get thought about inside. What has been powerful for you individually?
I mean, it might be a little unorthodox,
yeah.
But I actually really, really enjoy looking at myself in the mirror and explaining, telling, having a conversation with myself, basically. Like when I'm having tough emotions that I feel like I don't want to express to other people, or I feel like embarrassed or whatever it is, I always try to just look at myself and be like, no, you're valid. Explain the full depth of everything that you're feeling, and then look at yourself and explain back to yourself why those emotions, not why those emotions are okay, but accepting yourself in a certain way. And, sometimes when the FaceTime doesn't work and people don't answer their phone, you can talk to yourself. Yeah. And it does work. It does work for me. It does.
I love that. That's so good. Yeah, I've never heard anyone do that in the mirror.
I feel like it's taking journaling to another level.
Yeah.
Because you're actually facing yourself, which I think a lot of the times we are battling with our own self rather than with other people. And so actually looking at yourself in the mirror and speaking to yourself is so powerful.
It gets deep. The tears start flowing, and then you start looking at yourself. Yeah. Exactly. And you're like, dang, I see you. We're together in this. We got each other.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I hope everyone tries that out this week.
Yeah.
Anyone who's listening or watching, try it out. I'm being serious.
It's a good, sometimes I feel weird saying it because people, are like, that's ridiculous. But I've done it. And it has stopped the tears.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great.
Yeah, I was thinking as you were speaking that for me, writing has always been a powerful one. And it's funny because I think of the page being like a mirror. And I think many people find writing to be like that.
Yeah.
To the point where I remember some difficult points in my life where I didn't write for a very long time. For probably 2 years, I didn't write anything on a page because I was afraid of what would come out and what I would see. Wow. I felt just this complete block, and then to release that, to start, I always feel such a relief when I put a pen on the paper and start to write. And I was introduced to the practice of free writing some years ago. There's a famous book called The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. And this practice of morning pages is something that many people have found a lot of, just incredible experiences from. So I started to do that, and I still turn to that when I tried to do it regularly, but it's also one of those things you go through phases,
Totally.
But for me, so writing is always a huge help. Stating the obvious, I think, kirtan, meditation, music, of course, but my other huge one, which I think Willow and I share, is to connect with nature.
100, yep.
Just to walk. I think I try and go for a walk in nature every day, and without fail, it's like a balm. It's uplifting. Yes. It brings me back to myself. It sparks ideas and creativity. It's just like the road and the page. They're my two friends that really help me so much.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. That's so awesome. And I guess that's what's inspired a lot of your work. I know, Janavi, whenever you're doing your BBC Pause for Thought sessions, you talk a lot about the environment and climate change and that. Where do you see that intersection between like art and the environment or climate change or expression and that? Is there a synergy there, or is it just something that you feel is a different part of you where your care comes from?
I think it's absolutely intertwined. Nature is the most beautiful art that we can witness and observe. I'm so inspired by the natural world, and my mom is a really avid gardener and lover of wild plants and herbs, and she sort of brought us up like that to observe and learn about all the properties of plants and trees around us. So I'm kind of obsessed with plants and flowers, and people could laugh at me, but it's like I'm always I'm inspired by the textures, by the shapes, by the different aromas, everything. And so our nature inspires me creatively immensely. And in terms of caring for nature, I think like a person, the more you know a person, the more you care. So the more we observe and connect and feel a sense of relationship with nature, that care, it's like, why wouldn't I care? Exactly. That it's a beautiful exchange.
It nourishes me.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
There's a mutual exchange of nourishment going on. And I think also with the particular type of creativity and art, the questions that I'm asking or that we're asking about service, about divinity, these kinds of things, they bring us also closer to our deepest essence, which I believe is meant to be in harmony with nature. So the more that you're coming into that space, again, it just becomes a very natural connection to feel. Mm-hmm. And so I'm kind of a nature addict. Yes. And I know, like, when I visited Willow in her home, there's such a beautiful view of the ocean, and it's like it's just it's a part of you, right?
Yeah, 100%.
You gotta be there.
I think a significant decline in my mental health would happen if I were to live in a city.
Yeah.
I do live in a city, but if I were to live like amongst buildings.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need to wake up and see trees. I need to
just one tree.
Exactly.
At least one.
At least one. I'm a nature addict. What can I say?
Yeah.
Just like you.
Yeah.
And that's definitely one of the biggest healing agents in my life. 100%.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about this for the past couple of days about how you see this connection between spirituality and science and physics and spirituality.
Now she's going to get going.
And you've always been very much talking about like science and physics and but then you're also really interested in spirituality. Tell us about how you started to see so early in your life the connection and synergy between the two.
Yes.
Because I think so often they're talked about so separately, or
100%.
they're seen as like divisive or disconnected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest moments in my life that made me really move towards this marriage of spirituality and science was, I had been reading a lot of spiritual literature. I had been reading a lot of Osho, I read this one book called Oneness, and that book changed my life forever. And just the idea of vibration, and that everything is vibration really hit me, because I am a musician and music is like the biggest love of my life. And then learning about string theory was just opened my mind into such a place that it was like, these two things are the same. Like, people think that they're separate, and in some ways they are, but in the fundament, they're just two sides of the same coin. And so that inspired me to just dive really deep into the physical world and just how things work. And that's how I just got into physics and started studying physics. I've been studying more of the spiritual lane recently. It's hard, I will say, to study them deeply at the same time. But I study them separately, deeply, and I go back and forth and then try to figure out how to bring them together in some way. But in my life, I'm constantly relating my spiritual experiences with, all of the scientific things that I've read, or, just being in physics class and telling my physics teacher, like, oh, you should read this book. And he's like, okay, I'm a physics teacher. I'm not a metaphysics teacher. So I just want to continue to just get more intelligent and more intelligent while also losing my ego. I think is where I'm trying to go, which is kind of counterintuitive. Yeah. But I think it is possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
intelligence in service.
Exactly. And so that's really just, I have lots of goals, but that's one of them.
Save the world.
Exactly. Yes. I have lots of goals, but they all give me joy, and really just my curiosity for both makes life just exciting. Those two things just make my life feel exciting to me.
Yeah. I actually think that paradox is what makes it exciting.
Yes.
If your pursuit was only to become intelligent, you'd get bored.
Exactly.
And if your pursuit was only to remove ego, it wouldn't be as exciting. Exactly. It would be quite tough. And so actually, both of them together is a beautiful path, and often the path that can only be walked when you do both paths to really get it right. So 100%. I love that.
100%.
I love that. What were you gonna ask?
I wasn't.
I wanna add something. That's also why I really admire you, Jay, because you, while also having been a monk for 5 years, 3 years, you are also one of the most intelligent people I know. And that's so inspiring to see that you can do both and that both can be done. It just inspires me to do it. It just inspires me to try to actually put that into my own life. And I'm just so happy that you're in my life, so that I can see you grow and constantly learn from you. And that's really amazing to me.
Oh, you're the sweetest. I'm like getting all emotional now, but
now we're just gonna all be crying.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I really appreciate
your fan.
Yeah.
I'm your fan.
Yeah. No,
that was like Willow's 40-year-old grandma inside her talking.
I know.
So proud to
I know.
I love it.
No, I really appreciate that from you. It's, I think we both have a lot more in common than we know too.
Totally.
We're kind of discovering it recently.
I love
so,
guys.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh yeah, I can learn a lot. And that's why, I think what we all were talking about yesterday is, and I think why we all like being around each other is, and why everyone who's listening or watching, I'm hoping that this is encouraging you to connect with like-hearted people, connect with and collaborate with people that you're close to, because when you can be yourself and you don't have to apologize by asking for permission to say something or expressing who you are, and you welcome that. I think that's the kind of community that we're all looking for, where
100%.
where people just
Is
try.
it right to say sadhu sangha? Is that it?
Yeah. Oh, there
Sadhu
we go.
sangha.
Pulling it out.
Breaking out the Sanskrit.
Yes.
Yeah. So sadhu sangha, for those who don't know, Willow's now going to give the definition. No.
Is,
Gonna give a
Yeah,
song.
go-
you want to?
No,
Okay,
no, I'd love
is
you to explain it.
basically your spiritual family. You know, the like-minded individuals around you that facilitate your growth towards pure love for God, and that's fire in my eyes.
Yeah.
I want to do a mic drop.
Exactly. yes.
I love it. All right. So we end every On Purpose episode with a fill in the blank and a final 5. So fill in the blank is as it is. We'll read out a sentence for both of you and you both will fill in the blank. We've got different ones for both of
I'm
you.
gonna add
Okay.
them too.
Okay.
There you go.
And then we're going to do a final 5. So we'll start with fill in the blank and you do Willow, I'll do Janavi.
Okay. Making music is about.
Unlocking people's hearts.
Peace is found.
When my actions are in alignment with my values and my heart.
Love that.
I want my listeners to.
I want my listeners to break down in dance with the love of God.
Hey.
That's what I want.
I love that. Like that massive dance party we had before COVID.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
before COVID.
Okay. Music allows me to.
Fly.
Love that.
Vulnerability allows me to.
Be strong.
The word rise is about.
Moving up, going into my heart. And like we said in the song, don't hide from the questions within that rise within.
Oh, she loves
That is really good though. It's like, yeah, questions arise inside and we just try and we always try and push them down. Yeah, I love that.
I wish I knew 10 years ago that.
Oof.
Ooh.
Other people's opinions don't matter.
Hey.
Oof.
Okay, Jeremy. 2020 has allowed me to.
Wow. I'm like envisioning 2020. 2020 has allowed me to create.
And
Create as I haven't before in the past.
well, Willow, creativity is about.
Creativity is about expressing oneself entirely.
Love that. Collaboration is about.
Listening.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, Janavi. Yes.
Love that. Awesome.
I feel cute when.
This one's obviously not on the list.
From Jay's list of questions.
I feel cute when Prema is coming onto me. Yeah, I'm loving God.
Janvi, you feel cute when.
I feel cute when I'm around Radhi.
Yes.
What have you done to this interview?
I think I ended it really well. Go on, ask me
Okay,
some
so these are the final 5. That was very good, by the way.
Fantastic.
You guys. Final 5. So these have to be answered in one word or one sentence maximum.
Oh.
And they're the same questions for both of you. So I'll ask the question and then both of you can go in
Well, maybe
any
you guys
order.
can be like a buzz or a beep to answer first.
Buzz or a beep?
Yeah,
What?
buzz. So like he'll ask the question and whoever's got the answer first, buzz, beep.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right. Okay. Oh, all right.
Getting competitive.
Yeah, I know. All right.
I'm like,
You better not go. Be a bit competitive, okay?
Okay. Okay. What is the biggest lesson that you've learned this year? We'll put sound effect in. We'll put a sound effect in to make it more.
detachment.
Beautiful.
The power of community.
Love that. Okay. The second question is, this is one of my favorite questions I ask on the show. So what do you know to be absolutely true, but a lot of people may disagree with you on? And what is it that you're so confident about and so sure about in your life, but a lot of people may disagree and they may not necessarily understand?
Self-love is the most important love.
Nice.
But I don't know if anyone would disagree.
I'd say connection with spirit and the divine is essential for a purposeful life.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see people disagreeing.
Yes, I could. Yes.
Yeah. All right. The third question is, if you could set one law that everyone had to follow in the world, what would it be? If you had to create a new law that everyone in the world had to follow, what would it be?
You're like, stop.
I know. I'm like, I need this to be good.
Just in case someone's listening.
I'm gonna give two different, because this is too important to me to just say in one way.
Two laws. You get two laws. You can take Genevieve's too.
It's either treat people the way you want to be treated, or treat people with the utmost respect at all times, no matter what. I feel like that would help a lot of the wars and a lot of the inequality that goes on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful answer.
I want Willow's laws, but also I was thinking a law. I don't know how this would actually be manifest or policed, but a law about being truthful and honest. Can you imagine if everyone had to be truthful, if there had to be integrity to one's word?
Yeah.
What a place the world would look like, along with Willow's laws of love and respect.
It's like that movie. Did you see that Ricky Gervais movie where they actually did that? It was like a movie where
Or they couldn't lie or something.
Where everyone, the man who invented lying.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That was a funny movie.
Yeah.
I remember the Jim Carrey one, Liar, Liar.
Liar. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so two more questions left. Fourth question is, what is your personal favorite song on the EP and why? So you can be over one sentence on this.
What is my personal favorite song on the EP and why? I'd have to say Born to Give. Just because the instrumentation, it's like, when do you ever hear a guitar solo on top of a mantra that's being repeated? Like, we're saying Satchit Ananda like over an electric guitar solo.
Oh yeah.
While Satchit Ananda is being repeated. I just was like, I'd never heard anything like that. So I was like, I really love this moment. I think that would be my favorite song.
I love that. That's cool. That's a cool reason. Go on.
It's really, I mean, honestly, I actually do love them all equally, but Gajendra or Let Go is one of my favorites because I love the story that it's connected to, which is from the Bhakti tradition. And this theme of surrender is so meaningful to me, but to express it in English lyrics. And I just love it. And I love this bridge. A lot of people have been posting themselves singing it. Yeah. I just love that. I was telling Willow that a few weeks before we met up, I watched Hamilton when it went streaming online, and I was so inspired by the lyrics and the way that the music was composed and constructed, and I think that was in my head a little bit when I wrote this. So yeah, I love that song.
I love it.
Lastly, the most important one, both of you do an impression of each other from your experience in the studio.
100%. You're like, perfection.
Literally me.
Or like, I feel like that would be such a vibe.
Yeah, that's me. And then when I'm like on the keyboard trying to find the sound, trying to be like, okay, I could see that maybe. I could see that. And I'm like, okay, she doesn't like this. Let's move on.
My favorite Willow is that hits differently.
Yeah.
That really hits different.
Yesterday when we were talking about the Bhagavad Gita, I was like, oh, I kept on saying that. I was like, oh, that hits different. Oh, that hits different.
It's a great statement. I love it.
So
Everyone,
lovely.
Willow and Genevieve, go and listen to the Rise EP. We'll put the link everywhere. Please go and check it out. It's
will
a
transform your
beautiful
heart,
experience.
open it, and fill it with so much joy.
Yeah.
Oh, I will.
Go on, Julie.
It will transform your heart, open it, and fill it with so much joy.
But no, we really want you to go check it out. And thank you so much for listening today. Thank you so much. And if you don't already, go and follow Willow and Janavi on Instagram and tag us when you share it. Tag them when you share it, because we want to hear you guys singing along. We want to see you finding your peace, finding your calm. And so please, please, please tag them when you share it, because they'll be looking out. We'll be looking out. And we're so grateful again to have you here on Purpose. Thank you so much.
Big
thank you to Radhi for doing this with me today.
Thanks for having me on.
She's hired. She's hired.
Yeah.
Made the cut.
Make her a regular.
Hey, subscribe.